I asked my boyfriend Tim if I could do a documentary about the rare disease he suffers from, called Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. I asked if he wouldn't mind sharing his very personal stories. I was quite hesitant at first. There was actually a lot he felt needed to be said about Ehlers Danlos Syndrome.
So what is Ehlers Danlos?
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Ehlers Danlos Syndrome is an inherited connective tissue disorder that is caused by a defect in the production of collagen.
I know my parents always kind of made a joke that they were worried that the doctors thought that, I was an abused child because I had so many bruises and I came in about once a year. I'm telling you my interpretations of what happened, by the way. This is what, in my mind, caused the incident. The doctors, their explanations is that it's random. And unfortunately, I can't live my life thinking that I'm going to randomly hurt myself and there's nothing I can ever do about it. One day while working out, I just felt this weird pain in my side. I didn't have insurance at the time. They admitted me because I was in so much pain, and they didn't really do anything besides treat the pain. And it was a student hospital, so there were lots of students coming in and out, and taking pictures. They let me go super fast. And of course, the night I was admitted, I went back to my hotel room and I got sick again and I had to go right back to the hospital. I was living in Texas at the time, and then I moved to California. I was working a really strenuous job and I was living in a really expensive place and not eating enough. I felt a leg cramp at first, and then all of a sudden I just felt this pressure, and next thing you knew I couldn't walk anymore, and the leg just swelled up and swelled up and swelled up. It felt like it was gonna explode. Oh, that was a bad hospital. Because in LA, the hospitals are understaffed and undermedicated and overcrowded, and so you don't get much pain medicine there. I only saw one official doctor, and he just wanted me to stand up to inspect me. And so he just thrust me up on my legs, and I let out a yell, and he was very surprised. And he was like, "Oh, this hurts?" And I was like, "Yes, it hurts." And I had insurance. I thought they treated you better when you had insurance. And while I was there, they had 100 different interpretations of what it was. And I know that led to my bosses not believing in me and not having much sympathy for me, because the first time I messaged them, I said, it's a blood clot. Then the next time I messaged them, I said, it's a hematoma. I messaged them again, and it was compartment syndrome. So yeah, I went back to work, and I couldn't do like I used to do. So it was 2 months later, they fired me. I don't even know what happened. I coughed too hard, and I felt a pinch. I had a rupture. Yes, okay. This time I had a rupture, which caused a hematoma, which caused an obstruction, which was why I couldn't keep anything down. Ironically, that was the only time I had ever seen a doctor who had heard of Ehlers Danlos. Her reaction after she went outside the sheet was, "Oh goody, I had never had anybody with Ehlers Danlos before." I had you check in at work for me while I was in the hospital, and when I got out, they told me that my assignment had ended. And so I was in LA, in no condition to walk, much less look for a job. We really didn't have much of a choice but to move back to Texas.
Tim's mother passed away March 4th, 1999, following a procedure called an arteriogram. His older sister, Megan, who was 15 at the time, and their father, Drew, who was at her side when she passed, wrote to me a few words about Kathleen's experiences with EDS. What can I tell you about my mother? She had a beautiful smile and gave fantastic hugs, and I miss her every day. She never let on about how badly she felt or what kind of pain she was in. I knew that she bruised easily. However, no doctor ever seemed to be concerned about the easy bruising, and since this had been common her whole life, it just was deemed normal. She had an artery torn at the end of the procedure, and there was internal bleeding. Unfortunately, because of the disease, her veins and arteries lacked elasticity due to the lack of collagen, and how it was theorized that if Mom hadn't had repeated arteriograms, her life may have been preserved a bit longer.
I guess I'm fortunate that I have the knowledge that I gained through my mother's experiences, because I could have been misdiagnosed and mistreated a lot more than I have. And I've read lots of stories of people who have been. Most people with EDS are misdiagnosed a lot of times. And I'm very fortunate that I haven't been.